Substantially, there are no original plantings whatsoever. Her old studio and kiln no longer exist at all. The house is completely unrecognisable from its original form, and as a result, the property bears no physical or tangible evidence which can connect her house to Seacombe or her work, and has no architectural value whatsoever in representing any historical period due to all those modifications. Now, Seacombe's achievements are represented through her pottery, which has never revealed any connection as to where or how it was manufactured, and the house was simply an incidental place of production and residence for her during that time, but didn't actually influence her work. And so therefore there is no remaining tangible connection at all, and the house has no associative value in understanding her work. And for an outsider or passerby to the property, the house has no inherent value either as a distinctive architectural piece, and one would not make the connection with that historical period by simply looking at an old ordinary house. Now, we've spoken to many local residents, and they all agree with us and have signed our petition. No one that we have met has ever any idea who she is whatsoever, and do not agree that our house is of any significance aesthetically or architecturally. There may be a few pottery enthusiasts who might know, but the average resident in Ryde, or indeed the general public, would have no idea who she is. The house is irrelevant to her legacy. If you truly cared about her legacy, you would probably put in a local exhibition of her pottery work, rather than listing an old, modified house. Now, the listing would present an unnecessary cost burden on us as well, trying to maintain an old house, taking into account the need to involve specific materials and specialists and heritage expert advice and so on. And my parents, who are the owners, are both retirees. They've been ratepayers here for 3 decades. They can't afford to maintain a heritage property that has no tangible connection to an obscure historical figure that has no bearing on any preservation value. So the proposal as it stands is simply ridiculous and unjustified, and I thank the Mayor and Councillors for listening to our concerns and objection to this proposed heritage listing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Ms. Novella Wilkinson, speaking on Heritage Proposal 2019. Thank you, Ms. Wilkinson.
Good evening, councillors and neighbours. I have never been attending council meetings so regularly. In fact, I didn't even know where the council meeting room was before. Now I'm regular. Like the most of the opposing homeowners, I don't believe the Heritage Review is genuine and fair. This 1% of citywide heritage study is not fair. It's not citywide. How stupid do you think I am? This piece of work is in my heritage precinct. However, in this heritage conservation area, some extremely nice house deliberately excluded. I show you how nice. This will look more like a heritage to me. This will look more like a heritage to me. This can be heritage in the future. Nice architect. Everything is better than the piece of shit I just showed you.
Ma'am, excuse me, Ms. Wilkinson, if you could please not use...
Sorry, excuse my French.
That's okay. Pas de problème.
Okay, where's my letter? Sorry, hope you enjoy the show. Look, Mayor, I think I want to debate this from another angle. This is not about heritage protection. Because on 13th of September, you posted something on your Facebook page. For years, the past Liberal leader, City of Ryde, ignored your demands. Today, Ryde Council embarks on the biggest heritage reforms in generations, all designed to protect the history and preserve some of the beautiful streets. I think this post provoked hatred towards state government, towards the Liberal Party, and towards community. And I think I disagree. First off, this proposal will not protect heritage. This 1% area will put heritage in the 99% remaining area. They're going to be lost. And also, I don't think this will stop to overdevelop. Lots of apartment blocks has been approved by council in the past 5 years near Eastwood. And lots of high-rise continued to be approved by council near Macquarie Park. Stopping this 1% homeowners will not stop overdevelopment. So this is not the solution. And actually, this proposal achieved nothing, but what actually achieved is I changed my view to Liberal Party and independent party members.
Thank you, Ms. Wilkinson. I now call, so these are the items, these are the additional speakers. Mr. Trevor Campbell. Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you. Ready to go? Time is on. Firstly, Mayor, councillors, thank you for your opportunity to speak tonight. I'm lucky to get through the gate. I was number 13 on the list. I'm a proud local. If my wife was here tonight, we would be true heritage value. Between us, we rack up 100 years of living in the local area and come to the 3 generations. Look, I'm here tonight just not on behalf of myself, but some neighbours. I live in the proposed Wharf Road Heritage Conservation Area, and we've already attended the information sessions and felt compelled to come tonight to talk to councillors and mayor face to face, my first time as well. Look, we've done a door knock, which is something I've never really wanted to do, and carry a petition around. We're only a small HCA, but on average, I think there's around 35 homes in our area. To date, 26 owners have opened the door and responded to us. 20 are against, 3 are in support, 3 did not have enough information. The last time I did anything political, I would know that the numbers are saying that there's something wrong here. That's a massive 77% of homeowners in a small area repelling the suggestion to go to HCA. At the information session, the question was raised, how did Wharf Road come to be proposed? There was no response, lots of blanks. It was obviously not from the locals, a staggering 77%, or perhaps the council has been misinformed. Look, at the root of much of the angst from the local constituents are a few concerns: process, equity, and avoiding bureaucracy and driving time and cost. The process, from the owner's perspective, the door knocked, and I knew nothing about the 2010 commitment. They tell me that shouldn't have happened. 2010 there was a commitment related to a heritage process. They're also quite frustrated with the feedback that the council don't have to consult as much as they should. Well, again, you know, the failure to engage with those local residents at a 77% no, it's astounding. Equity. The one thing I get as we door knock around the area is why us, why my house? What about all the massive developments occurring within the years that have knocked down older houses? Property owners, this is unfair. We are not property developers. Owners are being, the council is not being transparent. Where did this process start from? Not from the GML process. Who was involved in outlining this specific plan before GML? There's a lot of suspicion, Mayor, about that, and we don't understand how a small area in a pocket suddenly got thrown into the equation. We don't want to face the cost. No one wants the cost. We've been told that the council is going to absorb the cost.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Mr. Dominic Wong, representing 1 Campbell Street, Eastwood.
I guess I'm on. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the councillors and the Mayor for the opportunity to speak. I am currently representing the owners of 1 Campbell Street. I personally am a consultant who heavily deals with heritage, properties, buildings, and so forth. And from that, it is a testament to how I do genuinely care about heritage, and that is my stance. But despite all this, we still speak in objection to the current proposal for heritage listing, specifically for our property, as from both an item perspective as well as conservation area perspective. 1 Campbell Street currently is proposed currently under the Summer Hayes HCA, and under that, it is currently sitting under the subdivision of the time of the Clan William Estate of 1907. Now, these are the following points I want you to consider with respect to the relationship between our property within the proposed conservation area and itself. So first one is, as part of the heritage data form, there is no historical evidence provided of the subdivision of Clan William Estate itself. The heritage form only provides one summary paragraph of what happened with no primary sources. That's pretty fishy to me from a historical perspective. Second point, the heritage form does not detail how Campbell Street contributes to the Clan William Estate itself directly, let alone the Summer Hayes HCA. There is nothing again beyond that one paragraph that was provided. In the heritage item, it doesn't detail any particular heritage elements of the property which contributes to the zone. Next top. The form acknowledges there are a number of uncharacteristic modern infill dwellings. As an example, if you go down purely just down the street of Campbell Street, one quarter of the properties are all recent redevelopments. So, with so many properties on Campbell Street no longer holding, its original form, the whole area is pretty gone already. Why was Ryde Council not here 30 years ago? And Campbell Street itself is already heavily modified. So following other open issues, the proposed zoning of the Summer Hayes is questionable. There is no overarching historical evidence as to why the zone should be done in this way. I am very confident that discrepancies are present for other proposed conservation areas. The heritage form report integrity is questionable. The content doesn't line up. Assessment is not comprehensive and not done fairly. And there's no peer review provided. There is shortlisting is questionable. How did it just get decided that we are going to be in it? And so, as a bare minimum, we are asking for the current proposal to be rejected, rezoning to be considered. The whole process really should start again from scratch with a more open, transparent consultation process so that everyone is indeed happy, including listing of legitimate heritage properties. And specifically, number 1 Campbell Street, as per my relative, and also as what I have said, we should not be heritage listed specific as an item, as well as under the conservation area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Seung Hee Kang, speaking on the Heritage Proposal 2019.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janet, and I live in Chatham Road, Denniston. First of all, I'm not good at English, but I wanted to say this to you. We all love heritage and support heritage protection, but all does not mean heritage. We are unhappy with the Ryde Council's recent heritage proposal, and I'm very upset about the unfair plans and the wrong behavior that did not get the consent of the residents of Ryde Council. So I strongly oppose this Ryde Planning Proposal Heritage Review 2019. Also, Council cancelled the information session without any paper notice. So we just waste my time, important time in front of building for nothing. What is Ryde Council doing it for their residents? I don't know about the politics. Australia is a multicultural country. Does not matter that you are born in here or not. We are Australian now. And Ryde resident now. I was very disappointed to see councillors at the council meeting at last week. Is this really good things to shout and fight and yelling each other? Because of this planning proposal, Heritage Review 2019 to make this problem. Why? The Ryde Council must listen to every resident in this area. And it is illegal to proceed with this plan without their consent. Australia is a liberal democracy country. This is not a communist country. I would like to ask the councillor from the bottom of my heart, did your house belong to heritage or heritage conservation area? I hope you will think about what you need to do for your resident. This plan is absolutely unfair. Lastly, I would like to thank Peter Kim, a councillor who is very supportive of Korean community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kang. Mr. Patrick Harsas, speaking on the Heritage Review.
Thank you, councillors. Look, this is a very important issue. As you can tell, the mood in the audience here is quite significant. And if I look around, there's 30, maybe 40 residents here who are about to lose up to $20 million in total value of their properties from this decision. Please, councillors, you must abandon this madness. It is ridiculous. And you're hiding behind your Labor factions or whatever faction you are. Represent the people. You must represent the people. But I attended one of the briefing sessions, and I was very disappointed with the consultation process. There were many people there who are old, elderly, who can't use the computer, and filling out a survey on SurveyMonkey or whatever that may be is not consultation. Consultation is listening to your residents. A lot of these properties have been in people's families for a long time. They are falling down around them. They can live in them, but no one else will. There is no future for these properties. And I was very disappointed that the buyers from the team that presented on that night, they were producing a PowerPoint presentation that actually said that one of the positives is that the value could actually improve. And when it came to the negative aspects, they wouldn't commit that this will have a negative impact on your value. I pushed them on that answer, and they would not give that to me. It's clear bias, and in the report is going to be produced by a heritage manager who clearly, the title suggests, in his job title, he's got a conflict of interest. He can't be doing that. The heritage team has also done insufficient research. My mother's property has changed many, many times. It has a facade, but it has a whole lot of asbestos lying around it. The house is unsustainable. It's weatherboard. There's only metal and wood between the elements in the rooms. Heating is on in winter, constantly cooling in summer. Look, I implore the council to listen to their residents. This is people's superannuation. It's meant to fund their retirement and their aged care living. You are destroying that. You are taking that away from them. Support the people. Don't support your faction. Support the people and get rid of this madness. Use the money for something else. And one last thing, there's a $500,000 fund for repairs for 200 properties. That's $2,500 each. It does not cover anything. It's ridiculous and insulting. It's time that we moved on, and I would like to know the status of Scott McKenzie's question with regard to the 2010 resolution. Thank you.
Lucy Chen, speaking on the Heritage Review.
And neighbors, thank you for give me the opportunity for the speech tonight. And I stand here, just want to address the impact that Heritage Review 2019 on Eastwood Public School. And to give the story short, I'll just read some fact sheet of this school. Currently, there are more than 800 students in Eastwood Public School. So far, I know some of the classes up to 25 students, and the normal ratio should be 20. Since 2016, there are 800 apartments approved by both council and state governments, just 500 meters around the school. Some finished, some just start, and some will start soon. To accommodate more students, school plans to build some proper new classrooms buildings from early next year. However, Ryde Heritage Review 2019 proposes Eastwood Public School to be listed as heritage item, although the youngest building in this school is less than 15 years old. Our school new building proposal now is on hold because of the heritage proposal. In the latest PNC meeting in last Wednesday night, 16 October, we still don't have received any update for the school new building yet. In the draft Local Strategic Planning Statement 2019, one of the planning targets lists in 2.2.4 is to ensure local primary school meeting the demand of population growth and changing demographics and are within a 20-minute walk from old homes in their catchment. When you imagine 800 apartments in the pipeline, do you think Eastwood Public School can cope with that? Do you think there's any consistency between heritage study and the town planning? Why you put this heritage proposal to make conflict with the improvement of the key assets to meet the community need? As a parent with kids in the school, I urge the council to allow more classroom to build without any delay in anticipation of the influx of the new students. We don't want our kids to study in the crowd and portable classroom. Thank you. Yeah. Finally, I want to say thank you to our Councillor Simon Zhou for supporting our Chinese community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Chen. David Wilkinson, speaking on the Heritage Review.
Hi. The Oxford Dictionary Online defines heritage as valued objects and qualities such as historic buildings and cultural traditions that have been passed down from previous generations. That doesn't quite fit the heritage conservation areas that council is seeking to impose. Countries like England and China might have fairly substantial ancient buildings that are worth protecting. In Australia, it's a bit difficult. People get excited about less than amazing old buildings that ordinary people live in several consecutive streets, just smearing across whole areas that they're apparently heritage. It's a bit absurd. We do have heritage buildings in Ryde that should be protected, like Curzon Hall or the old courthouse in Ryde. They're great old buildings. They tend to have sandstone in them, not just every single brick building on a regular street. Whether we prefer 100-year-old brick architecture or new modern brick homes is a matter for personal taste that should be left to the homeowner's discretion. It is, after all, their home, often representing the majority of their lifetime's earnings. The damage that could be done, as has been said by many people here, to that could amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars easily over the course of the ownership. That's like saying 4 years out of your, say, 40-year career, 10% of your working life is going to be wasted because we're saying all of these houses, regardless of their age, in a certain area, many from the 70s, 60s, doesn't matter what, duplex, whatever it is, a heritage. Yikes. Many of us, myself included, want to prevent high-density developments, but the heritage proposal would go far beyond that, preserving all of the structures in an area. If you want to have development restrictions that prevent apartments or high-density townhouses, focus on exactly that. Don't try to extend it to saying every single house has to stay the way it is. The Heritage Conservation Area documentation circulated by Council indicates that much of the land was originally subdivided in Denniston was subject to a requirement that houses should be worth £500. This allowed land buyers to build a home to their own tastes while ensuring the quality of construction was maintained. If this is the heritage that the council seeks to protect, then it should continue to respect landowners' rights to build the homes that we want to live in.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkinson. I have Guanjing Ruan. I'm not sure what they're speaking on, but I'll hazard a guess it's on the heritage.
Yeah, my speech will be around related to the heritage.
Thank you, Mr.
Thanks.
Ruan.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and councillors, staff, residents. I know it's already 8:40. Can you please pay a little bit attention on my speech? Thanks. All right. First of all, heritage is a great thing, and I support it entirely. However, only where it is genuine and require and with owner's consent. First of all, owners' rights to be respected, I believe, especially for this heritage study. I did lots of research like all the residents. In 2010, the Heritage Advisory Committee reported to the council, and the council resolved that the council will not pursue compulsory heritage listing of any property unless the landowner of the property applies for a heritage listing of the property. All right? For a very special example, the current council benefit from this resolution as the civic center was not heritage listed due to the owner did not agree. So that now the council wanted and can demolish this and rebuild a new civic center. Okay, the civic center is a separate topic. I think, personally, I think it should be preserved and keep it. Anyway, it's a separate topic we can discuss on the other day, all right? Secondly, the council cannot arbitrarily overturn an important resolution. The owner's consent is required for heritage listing. It's a consensus in the Ryde community. All right? Dramatic and arbitrary change is undermining the foundation of the credibility and consistency of the authority, including council and the heritage advisory committee. All right? If the council loses this credibility now, how can the residents trust what council says now? Recently, the councillor and staff said inside HCA, Heritage Conservation Area, minor works can be done as heritage exemption and without need for DA. You, the council, can overturn this next year. You can just inform us, maybe you don't want to send a letter to us, to just say, every single maintenance will require DA and no exemption. I don't want to see this. No one wants to see this. All right? Please keep consistency. All right? All right. Lastly, financial impact is definitely a concern. It's incurred by the conservation area. I want my own house.
Thank you, Mr. Ron. Mr. Moses Louis, speaking on the Heritage Review.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, councillors. Thank you, residents. I hope you're not too tired. I'm representing number 1 Richards Avenue in Eastwood. I'm the owner. I've been there for more than 20 years. And thank you so much for Councillor Lang allowing me, because this is so important that we have the opportunity to speak. And thank you, Simon, as well. Few things. Just want to bore you with all the details. I'm overwhelmed by the support I've heard, all the arguments, including technical consultants' information. Few things. One, procedural confusion. All right. One of the owners read this letter to you. Oh, council would like to confirm that your property is not proposed to be heritage listed. And then, a week later, our council confirmed that your property is proposed in the review to be listed. So, serious. I can show you the paper. So, first of all, only enough consultation. Right? Actually have never received a proper letter in the beginning. I was being informed by the neighbors. And to my horror, like these things will happen in Ryde, modern democratic society. Number two, indeed about 10 years ago, a developer came to us telling us that under federal law, any property at the corner house within 1 kilometer from the station is actually protected, that they can develop into duplex because of the increasing dense population. We didn't go ahead. So I would say, what about you check with the federal law first? This is procedural issue as well. And number 3, I really think I look at those proposals briefly. One of the reasons, one is architecture, someone already mentioned that. One is regarding trees, to protect trees. I agree we should protect trees, but really it should be on individual basis. Let me give you an example. Right? I know the law has given the councils enormous power to do anything, but please, you need to be respectful. You need to be consultative. I want you to imagine one day Gladys, our premier, tell you, councillors, Ryde council, I'm going to list the whole Ryde area to be heritage listed. Whole area. Why? And then all of a sudden Scott Morrison said, what about the whole Sydney to be heritage listed? You know, heritage listing should always be on individual houses and on a voluntary basis. And this attitude of condescending, bullying attitude really already has caused a lot of hurt, damage, division among the residents, which really we should not have allowed it to happen. And I actually was very appreciative of Simon's appeal last month. Like, please.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. Ms. Tina Bean, speaking on the Meadowbank Skate Park.
Gentlemen, members of Ryde, I'm going to change the pace a bit. I understand that there's a lot of concerns, but I'm going to express a different concern. I'm going to reinforce the stuff that Ariane Bourne was talking about earlier today about the skate park at Meadowbank. I love the park. I think it's amazing. I think it's a fantastic resource. What I am really concerned about is the injury that is going to happen and the death that is potentially going to happen going down that road from Meadowbank Station to that park. I just stepped out of my room, out of my house to go to get a pizza one night and just quickly whipped up my phone, and two kids in black with caps over their face, no idea what they're doing. They've got no way of being seen, and they're coming straight down the middle of the road through that roundabout without having a look at the traffic, and they have a car right behind them who only just managed to see them as they were going through the roundabout because the light hit them at the right time. This happens every day, all day. The younger ones, some of them are 5 and 6 years old. The big cars that are coming down, the four-wheel drives, they can't see those young kids. It is only a matter of time before those kids get hit and one of them is killed. They think it's fantastic. They think it's a play. They think it's so much fun coming down that big hill through that roundabout. They don't know to look. They don't understand the impact. And soon, that impact is going to be all too real. It will affect them. It will affect their schools. It will affect everybody around them. I want that park there. I want those kids to be safe. We need regular patrols, particularly at high time areas. We need school education. We need traffic calming measures on that road to keep those kids safe, because otherwise there will be a death. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bean, and I see you came with the earlier speaker, so I encourage you to perhaps meet with the staff together to discuss some of your ideas, and there's a process to go through for some of those traffic changes. So thank you for coming to council tonight. Got one last speaker, a late addition, Warren Joel, speaking on item 7. Thank you, Mr. Joel.
Yep, God light. We're in. Good evening, Mayor, councillors. I'm very pleased to be able to stand here tonight. I found out about this meeting at 4:30 this afternoon. Very luckily, WAG had sent us a dropped letter in our letterbox, because 10 years ago we were found out they were trying to propose to put a walkway in the river from Parramatta to Ryde. I have also found out again today that they are trying to do it again. I am lucky enough to have bought where we are, and I was born in Ryde Hospital 55 years ago. If the boardwalk is built with the surrounding people's money, this is community money, they will be costing millions of dollars to maintenance, to a walkway that will carry the city to surf every weekend. I currently live in a beautiful part of the world. I love the country we live in. However, if you've got the city to surf walking past your backyard every weekend, I cannot get out through my driveway currently because of the existing walkway and cycleway. I do a lot in the Ryde area, and I continue to support WAG for the help that they're currently doing, and I need to be able to stop this boardwalk from being built in the Ryde local area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Councillors, just before we move, I'd just like to raise, a lot of issues were raised tonight. I'd like to thank the gallery for coming tonight and for participating, and also for exhibiting some exemplary behaviour tonight. I'd like to really single that out and thank you for keeping it civil and succinct. And I'd like to thank you for that. It's a big difference from last Thursday, and I've noticed a difference, so thank you for that. And for those who are enjoying attending council meetings, we also stream online. So if you do want to watch, you can watch it online. But thank you everyone for participating. This is a very emotional issue, and as it stands, consultation closes on the 10th of November. So for those of you who have not written a submission, I would really encourage you all to write a submission, which will then come to a report to council by the end of the year. There are 2 meetings before the end of the year. It'll be either of those 2, where council can decide either to completely ignore the heritage review, to support it in full, or to make amendments, and that will happen at the council meeting by the end of the year. For those who have questions about the public sessions, they were cancelled for work health and safety reasons. I've seen the incident reports, and it was pretty dire, and I just need to be completely upfront about that. They were replaced with public sessions, which I personally believe to be in a better format, and I would encourage everyone to register to attend those. And what I'll ask council staff to do tonight is, for everyone who has registered to speak tonight, we have some form of contact detail, whether it be a phone, an email address, or a postal address. We will send you the information for the remaining public information sessions. One improvement is that they are smaller sessions where more questions can be asked and answered. The second improvement is that at some of the sessions there are translators, where the previous sessions did not have that. So also for those who have issues registering online, please consider ringing the City of Ryde General Customer Service number, which is listed on almost every piece of correspondence that goes out there. Council staff can register you for one of these sessions. But I guess the takeaway from tonight is, please write a submission if you haven't done so already. This is, as some of you have suggested, a open process where submissions are accepted, and submissions have been extended by 2 weeks for this exact purpose, that we want to hear from as many people as possible. And I've heard some things tonight, and I look forward to what I'm sure will be a very interesting debate before the end of the year, when this matter returns back to council with hopefully many of your issues addressed. So as we move on to the agenda items, I need a...
I have a notice, motion of urgency.
And what's the matter of urgency, Councillor?
Just sent it to, just get up on the screen.
Councillor Lane, I don't see this to be a matter of urgency, so I'll refuse that. We'll move
Mr.
on.
Mayor, we've heard almost 100
Councillor
speakers
Lane,
here
I've
tonight on
made my
this issue.
determination. Thank you. We need to move on.
Outrageous.
Okay. All right. Let's move on with the agenda items, councillors. I propose that we move. Councillor Brown. So the list order is item 1, items without debate. Item 7, item 8, notice of motion 3. Notice of motion 5, notice of motion 6, notice of motion 7, and item 2.8. Now, if some of those items are listed without debate, we obviously might need to debate them, but yeah, sure. So this is the order of the agenda. So item 1, which is items without debate. Item 7, which is the Ryde Riverwalk. Item 8, so this is in order of speakers, which is the Rose Street Car Park. Notice of motion 3, Putney Hill. Notice of motion 5, which is yours, Councillor Brown. Notice of motion 6, which is Councillor Pedersen's. Notice of motion 7, which is Councillor Lane's. And item 2.8, which we had a speaker on for the Parramatta River Master Plan. Now, some of those items are proposed without debate, and we'll deal with that when we move on to item 1. So if we resolve to deal with them without debate, then we won't discuss them, as per the resolution of council. Are you happy to move that, Councillor Kim? The order of business?
No, Mr. Mayor, I had the urgent motion.
We just got to deal with the order of business, and then I'll hear your urgency, think. Councillor Purcell, thank you. Seconded. Councillor Gordon, thank you. This is just the order of business based on the speakers' items on the agenda. Councillor Clifton, just order of business, please. Thank you, councillors. Councillor Kim.
Mr. Mayor, I have an urgent motion. Can I read them out?
The motion, yeah. What would you like the motion to be urgent?
The urgent motion is, I'm seeking the council to consider striking out the heritage conservation area from the heritage study. And the motion is that the general manager, point A, strike out the heritage conservation zone from the heritage study. B, consult the community on the heritage items and not on the heritage conservation zone. And 3, notify the residents who are affected by the heritage conservation zone.
Councillor Kim, as explained, this matter is coming back to council by the end of the year, where you're more than welcome to move that as an amendment. It is not a matter of urgency as per the code of meeting practice, so I'm going to have to refuse that.
Mr. Mayor,
Councillor Kim,
Code of Practice 9.9 says, matter will be urgent will requires decision by the council before the next scheduled ordinary meeting.
And my determination is that it's not urgent. Councillor Kim, I've made the rules. Thank you. The matter's coming back before council by the end of the year. It's not urgent. Councillors out. Councillor Kim, will you please flick off your light? Okay.
I still haven't heard this justification why this is not urgent.
I made my determination, Councillor Kim. Councillor Kim, can you please flick off your light? Councillors out. Thank you. All done. Thank you. Councillor Udelian.
Yeah, I move a dissent from your decision.
You can't move a dissent motion on a ruling on urgency, Councillor Udelian. Thank you.
There are three
Councillor Udelian, you cannot move a dissent motion on a matter of urgency ruling. Thank you. All right, let's go. Item 1. Item 1, items without debate. Councillors, we need to move on, gallery. Thank you. Items without debate. We've got mayoral minute. Gallery, please. We've got a big agenda item tonight. As I've mentioned, your behaviour has been exemplary. I would like that to continue. This matter will come back to council in the very near future, where amendments can be made to the heritage study when the process is complete, and that's when it's coming back. Thank you. Items without debate. Mayoral minute 24/19. Then we have item 2, 5, 8, 9, 10, item 3, Item 4. Item 5. Item 9. Item 12. Item 13. Notice of motion 1. Notice of motion 2. It's up to you, Councillor Brown. Notice of motion 5. Okay, thank you. Councillor Pedersen, notice of motion 6. Happy with that? Okay. Alright, so not 6. And notice of motion 7. Oh, sorry, that was up to you, Councillor Lane. I think there was general consensus to support, so it can go without debate. It's up to you. It's your motion. Yeah, okay, great. Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, just before you pull it.
I pulled out your one.
No, there was something else. Sorry, can I just have a look before you?
Sure, yeah, absolutely, and I'll read through them because some weren't at the earlier pre-briefing, so I'll go through them and name them. So works, we've got the community grants program. No, you declared on the fall strategy. That's out. Yep. Community grants program without debate. Then we've got the Parramatta master plan without debate. Then we've got the glyphosate use without debate. You want that out? Okay. So item, that's 9. 2.9 is out for debate. And 2.10 is the RMS funding, accepting that. It's a great result. Item 3, the entire report, which is the Finance and Governance Committee, minutes, interests, reports to the Council. Item 4 is the Ryde Central Committee update. Item 5 is the investment report as at 30 September. Then we go to item 9, which is the request for tender on asset inventory collection. Then we go to late item 12, which is the minutes. Then we go to late item 13, which is the confidential property matter. All good? Then we go to, and I received a call from Councillor Maggio earlier this afternoon. He's happy if we're in support to proceed with these. So notice of motion 1, which is upgrades at Morrison Bay, Putney and Bill Mitchell. Notice of motion 2 is the basketball competition. Notice of motion 3, I understand there's a mover and seconder, and I think Councillor Pedersen has a, sorry, that's not on the list. Well, that's up for debate, sorry, I won't confuse things there. Notice of motion, Councillor Kim, just for clarification, you wanted to just make a minor amendment to your notice of motion 4, is that right? Okay, great, so that's not in there. Notice of 5, Councillor Brown's heritage listing of PG Milner, that's received support, or investigating that. Notice of motion 6, no, that's not on the list anymore. And notice of motion 7, which is yours, Councillor Lane. Okay, can we have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Purcell, seconded by Councillor Gordon. Okay, can we please vote? Thank you, councillors. Item the Ryde River Walk. Could I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Pedersen, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Purcell. Councillor Pedersen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I rise to commend this report. It will mean a big change for some houses along where the boardwalk is proposed. I followed this campaign 6 years ago as a supporter of the walk, as a local resident, because I was disappointed the walk was cut short by only 150 metres. I would love it finished so that young families like I had back then, people, elderly mums like my mum when she was alive back then, and those who are disabled could have meaningful, safe and accessible access to this walk. Since this part of the proposal was rejected 6 years ago, both the Commission and the Parramatta River Master Plan have identified increased access and activation of the river as a priority in their plans. That is more space for more people. Over 6 years, our level of high density living in places along the river has increased sharply, and people are just need to connect with green spaces, with water for mental and physical health, and hopefully soon a swim site at Putney Park. It's been surveys supplied to all of we councillors that only one property along the proposed walkway had a shared boundary with high water mark, and council have negotiated with that the boardwalk to be built. Legal advice and a current up-to-date survey has satisfied our staff, our legal counsel, our external, that due diligence has been met with the recommendation to support this report. In regard to conservation, as Vice Chair of the Parramatta River Catchment Group, helping deliver the master plan that Council has endorsed this evening, as Chair of the Environment Advisory Committee and New South Wales organiser of an Environment Action Group, I that the boardwalk will be built in an environmentally sensitive way, taking note of the spot for the powerful owl and directing pedestrians away from sensitive mangrove ecosystems that they trudge all over at the moment. Complaints about walkers wandering onto private land, which has been a problem in the past. I feel that a designated board this as well by directing them away from the properties. I thank the staff for the hours of research over the years and consultation on this report, and for their submissions both for and against this proposal, but particularly those in support of this walkway will benefit the greatest number of people in Ryde.
Thank you, Councillor Pedersen. Councillor Udelian? No? Do we? Yep, Councillor Pedersen, you can flick up your light. I'll have you speaking in favour of the motion.
Yeah, I'm speaking against the motion.
Thank you.
It's a few times past 10 years, and according to legal advice, strong legal advice, we can someone's house is his castle. We can't infringe on that. This legal advice, it's only on our table. I didn't have even a chance to look at it. I understand why East Ward Councillor has an amendment to them. I think we should defer this. This is not, I didn't have a chance to read this legal advice, legal complication. This is enormous, so I will not support this motion as it stands.
Thank you. Just before you go, Councillor Lane, about legal advice. Mr. Capetis, are you willing to, I guess, give us some more detail? I understand that would probably session. Is that, yeah? And do you have some information that you can talk to us through legal advice and councillors may have? Yes. Would you perhaps give that information to councillors?
Councillors, as the Mayor suggested, it's probably best that this be discussed in confidential, given that it is of a legal. There have been some speakers tonight who have indicated that there may be some possible legal action. So on that basis, I would and we can discuss it and I can answer any questions as of a legal nature.
Are there any questions like of the legal nature that they'd like to ask? Yeah. Okay. Any others? Sure. Well, what to go into confidential? Not right now, obviously. So, going to seek, procedural motion to defer the matter to confidential. No, so, no, well, Councillor, Councillor, yeah.
I do, thank you. No, you've all but.
Just Councillor Lane with his amendment.
Well, thank. And I might first, just by making a quick comment as it stands tonight, I won't be supporting it, as Councillor Udelian has foreshadowed. To take the words right out of Councillor Brown's mouth, it is extraordinary that residents in the city of Ryde who have taken it upon themselves to seek top legal advice in relation to this matter have made it available not only to myself but to every other here and amongst themselves months and months and months ago. I come to this matter, and for the first time ever, I see the legal advice. In addition to not being a lawyer, I read the pages that are in this thing within the short period between when councillors had to sit down after listening to all the residents' very passionate and eloquent speeches to fair and considered judgment on information that is just frankly considered. There are so many issues that have been raised consistently by residents around the very clear, I suppose, contrast between. But let me make it very clear. As a City of Ryde Council, we can pay any lawyer to tell us ultimately we're their client. And if we tell them we've got a brief, well, that's just how it works. But what I think is offensive about all of this is that legal advice that we have got is just not a comparison to what ratepayers have provided, not to mention the concerns that have been raised by ratepayers in relation to potential environment. About flora and fauna, we don't have that sort of detail. When I got expecting to receive a series of options that we can consider. How many did I get? One. And that was the one that we were going to run with. There was never any question, never any doubt. And I just don't think that that is an acceptable or appropriate policy in this city. So, amendment, and the amendment will read as follows.